Welcome to the Team Engagement Podcast, where leaders of teams share their insights. We discuss 6 questions in 9 minutes because leaders know how to be concise. Let's go ahead and get started with our guest today. First question, in a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
My name is Michael McMillan. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer of Aceyus. We're a software company that specializes in business intelligence and real-time data analytics for contact centers worldwide.
Fantastic. Question number 2, what's the best thing about working with a team?
You know, working with a team is one of the things that I could tell you not inherently start with, right? I was originally a self-generator in the sales world, so I came up through the sales side. Was a top producer, but quickly realized, as my production got higher and higher and getting into even the 7-figure realm, it was one of those things where money wasn't driving me anymore. And as I started to realize what was driving me was watching other people generate those type of life-changing moments, and watching others be able to do that, and knowing you affected potentially a person's, not just their generation, but multi-generations. It's a easy motivator to understand why you stay in leadership.
I like that story. That's a great, I call it a multiplier approach. You're out to help other people and create that, especially as you talked about kind of multiple generations there. That's great.
Oh, yeah.
Question number 3, I hear from other leaders of teams that it can be a challenge to get team members engaged. Tell us your thoughts.
Engagement is always a tough thing, especially in the world of sales and in customer success. So I handle both sides in the organizations I work with. And it is one of those things that was never easy. And I will say, in a post-COVID environment now, it's even harder, because you can't even do the team building activities like you used to, where, beer 30 was always a nice little activity, but, you're missing even out on that. And now I tell you is what it is, it's being purposeful. You have to understand, what is it going to do to engage your team together, unite them in that kind of common bond, but also get them out of their own self. So, a few things like we do, for instance, when we have our daily huddles, it is a strong suggestion that you get out for a walk, and we do it, walking huddles on our mobile phones. We have weekly book clubs, so we all read books together. We have a book club meeting every week to just kind of push through engagement. And it's not even work related. We'll do some things that are just way outside of there, just kind of hobbies and things we like. And then, when we can, we do still try to get together. We're dispersed all across the United States. But again, it's being purposeful in our communications. The last Friday of every month, we still kind of have a virtual happy hour, which is good, and it worked. But it's, I tell you, for leaders, you got to be purposeful. You got to put your culture and your team first, and understand that, especially now when people are stuck at home, it's, you got to think through their emotional state and how you're going to help them keep pushing forward.
Great comments. Yeah, I really like those ideas that you have about helping people get out of themselves and really putting that culture first. That's a great comment. Question number 4, what other piece of advice do you have for leaders of teams?
I think the biggest piece of advice I would give is to remember that, people are not just people, it's a family unit. And that's been one of the things I took into account very early on in my leadership. I think a lot of it comes from my background in outsourcing. I started out my whole life in the contact center outsourcing world. And I had a mentor of mine say something to me that always stuck with me, which is, he said, every time you let one of these people go, you're not just affecting them, you're affecting the 4.5 people that they have around them as well. Because typically, especially in the outsourcing world, they're usually the breadwinner. And so when I think through that, I realized quickly, from moment one of recruiting, I engage the family. So when we give an offer, even if it's virtual, we will ask if the wife and kids can be involved with it. We'll explain through that, the demands on them, travel. If their spouse has to be gone through a weekend, we'll offer sometimes sponsorship for the wife to maybe come and meet them up, just to help be a family first portion of it. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have the buy-in of the family in supporting their spouse and their engaged activity, you're never going to get the employee engaged with what you want them to do. So it's, you must think through the family aspect of it, and the family is part of the business, and it is not just the employee, it is the whole family, and you have to think through that whole part of it.
I really like that. I really like how you're incorporating more than just the employee, but making it, as you said, the whole family. That's fantastic. Great advice. Question number 5, what other successful leaders of teams would you like to recognize that have had a positive influence in your life?
I've got two mentors who always come top of mind. I mean, one of my mentors is a gentleman named Jack Daly. He's a pretty outspoken sales leader and trainer out there. Jack caught me when I was actually doing the transference from a quota carrying schmuck, as I like to call myself, to a sales manager. Which anyone who's going from that transfer knows those are tough days because you're leaving a lot of money behind. And Jack really is the one who got me set up on stage and still mentors me to this day. I still actually meet with him weekly just to work through it. Then from there is my old former CEO, Fred Weiner. He was the CEO of The Connection. Fred is, as I tell everyone, he's the one who made me an executive. Jack got me a manager, director. Fred definitely made me an executive. He's the one who, beat my bow in and just, brow in and said, listen, man, you can manage all you want, but if you can't get strategic, you're never going to go nowhere. And, I really owe a lot to Fred. And then I'll tell you one other one is a guy I work with. His name's Tim Erie. He's our CMO here at Aceyus. Tim is the yin to my yang, right? It's, as much as he's the creative element, watching his team building abilities to build a creative unit to support a sales organization has been nothing short of amazing.
Well, they definitely sound like great individuals. And so thank you for recognizing them and the part that they've played in helping you become who you are. So it's fantastic. Question number 6, last question. Tell us about your first job.
So I am your atypical child of where I came out of. So my first job is hilarious, but my job started at 7 years old. And it's funny to go that far back, but it's true. My family, I'm a second gen contact center guy, which is, I'm the weird unicorn in the world. My first job, my mother set me down in front of a phone book, handed me 2 highlighters and explained, you're going to call all these numbers each night. Every time someone picks up, you're going to ask them, are you an answering service? If they say the words yes, highlight them in pink. If they say the words no, highlight them in blue. And I got paid $0.25 for one, $1 for the next, because I was building her lead list for the next day to call and try to get customers for her answering service she owned. And we were broke as a joke on the south side of Chicago, and we were sleeping on cots in the floor of our family's contact center and just trying to get the thing built. And so every night from 7 until still kind of do it today, and just not with a phone book. It's, they still make my 100 calls and trying to earn my few bucks for candy money.
Wow. That's an impressive story. Michael, I think that you now hold the record for the youngest. I think I've heard 9 and 10, but I think you might be the youngest at 7. I think that's, oh, wow. What a great work ethic instilled so early. That's awesome.
It's before the child labor laws came out, Yeah,
well, minor details that it's a family business, right? They were,
yeah.
Michael, what's that?
I said, get it where you can.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, Michael, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. How can people find you?
You know what? I'm very active on LinkedIn. Just look up Michael McMillan with Aceyus. You'll see me all over there. I'm all over there all the time. You can find me through our website, which is aceyus.com, ACEYUS.com. And then, of course, on LinkedIn and all over Instagram as well. But, I'm happy to engage. I'm always, I have 100% response rate on LinkedIn. I believe in engagement and building a network. So I'd love to chat with any of you guys.
That sounds great. This is Sean Richards with the Team Engagement Podcast, where leaders of teams share their insights. For more ideas, you can go to teamengagementpodcast.com, and there you can download our engagement booster tip guide and worksheet, and that will help you with engagement all the way from the hiring to the time when you have to part ways with an employee or team member. Again, that's teamengagementpodcast.com. Thanks so much for joining us today, and have a great day.